The Swordsman takes place during the Joseon Dynasty, under the rule of King Qing Dynasty. One night, King Qing, his baby daughter, and his bodyguard had to flee from rebels who wanted to overthrow him. These rebels were once loyal officials, but they turned against the king because he chose to remain neutral in the conflict between the Ming and Qing dynasties. King Qing didn't want to openly support the Ming dynasty because it could have led to the Qing dynasty attacking Joseon. On the other hand, supporting the Qing would make Joseon seem like a traitor to the Ming, who had helped Joseon in the past. Because of this difficult situation, King Qing decided to stay neutral. However, many high-ranking officials were unhappy with his decision not to back the Ming dynasty, so they decided to rebel and replace him with a leader who would support the Ming. That night, Guillaume Sabak, the only male bodyguard of King Qing, tried to protect the king and his daughter from the rebels. Sabak was the most loyal guard to the royal family and was known as one of the best swordsmen in the kingdom. He had to face another royal swordsman, Seung Ho, in a duel. Seung Ho was unsure about the rebellion because he believed King Qing was a wise and good ruler. But he joined the rebels because of the king's choice to remain neutral and because of the influence of another official, Li Mukyo. The duel between Sabak, who wanted to protect the king, and Seung Ho, who joined the rebels, was intense. During the fight, Sabak's sword shattered, and pieces of the blade injured his eyes. Seeing this, King Qing decided to surrender to the rebels and give up his throne. Before he was taken away, the king tore a piece of his robe and gave it to Sabak, signaling him to take care of his daughter. As Sabak escaped with the king's daughter, he remembered the first time he met King Qing. Back then, Sabak had fought off several prison guards from the Qing Dynasty by himself after escaping from their dungeon. Seung Ho and King Qing, who was also a swordsman, recognized Sabak's potential to be the best swordsman. King Qing brought Sabak to the palace for special training and made him a bodyguard for the royal family. Sabak was very grateful to the king for his kindness and vowed to always stay loyal and protect the royal family. 18 years after the royal rebellion, Sabak has been caring for King Qing's daughter, living in the mountains to avoid being found by the royal Joseon troops. He changed his name to Tae Yul and named the girl Taeok, raising her as his own daughter. They live by hunting and selling the skins of animals in a nearby market. Tae Yul enjoys their peaceful life away from war, but things change when his eyesight starts to fail. Worried, Taeok brings a male physician to check her father's eyes. The physician advises them to get herbal medicine from the village trading post to prevent Tae Yul from going blind. The next day, Tae Yul and Taeok leave the mountains to buy the medicine they need. The Joseon kingdom is now ruled by King Inju, who replaced King Qing after the rebellion. On that day, King Inju meets with high officials, including Seung Ho and Mukyo, to discuss the Qing Dynasty's cruel colonization of the Joseon kingdom's borders and the enslavement of its people. The Qing began colonizing because King Inju supported the Ming dynasty and dismissed officials who disagreed. As a result, the Qing started enslaving Joseon people, especially women. The royal officials are worried but feel powerless because the Qing demand a huge ransom to free the slaves. King Inju and the officials fear that their families could also be enslaved. Mukyo offers to negotiate with Gurutai, the leader of the slave post. The next day, Seung Ho decides to resign from his position, feeling guilty for the suffering of the Joseon people after they overthrew King Qing. Back in the village, Tae Yul and Taeok pass through a market filled with various goods that catch Taeok's eye. Suddenly, they witness a man trying to free his wife, who is about to be taken as a slave by the Ming dynasty's men. However, since the ransom for freeing slaves has increased, the man can only beg for her release. Taeok feels sorry and wants to help, but Tae Yul stops her, telling her not to get involved. Joseon soldiers arrive, but, seeing the Ming dynasty's slave overseers, choose not to interfere. Meanwhile, Mukyo meets with Gurutai, the ruthless leader of the slave post and a cousin of the corrupt Qing Dynasty emperor. During the meeting, Gurutai insults the Joseon kingdom, making Seung Ho so angry that he grips his sword. Gurutai notices Seung Ho's skill and challenges him to a fight. Seung Ho fights one of Gurutai's executioners, Hwa-sam. Seung Ho remains calm and precise, while Hwa-sam is arrogant, thinking he is the best. However, Seung Ho easily wins the fight. At the trading post, Tae Yul and Taeok meet the owner, Washan, but the herbal medicine is very expensive and rare. It requires approval from local officials to buy it. Taeok offers animal skins in exchange, but Hwashan declines, saying they are not worth the medicine's price. Shortly after, Gurutai and his men arrive at the trading post for a break. After leaving the trading post, Tae Yul gives Taeok a bracelet she had wanted from the village market. Then, they visit a food stall run by the woman who had nursed Taeok as a baby. Meanwhile, Mukyo visits Hwashan, asking for a girl to take care of his mother. Hwashan thinks of Taeok and plans to offer her the job, which could help her earn enough money to buy the rare herbal medicine they need. Early the next morning, Tae Yul visits a sword craftsman who had made swords for the royal family. He wants to make sure the craftsman is still alive so that he can return for a sword when needed. At the same time, Hwashan visits the food stall to meet Taeok and offers her the job Mukyo mentioned. When Taeok meets Mukyo, he explains that he wants to adopt her as his daughter. She would receive luxurious treatment like other officials' families and enough money to buy the herbal medicine for her father. Eager to help her father, Taeok agrees to the offer. The next day, Seung Ho visits Mukyo's house and notices a red cloth similar to the one King Kwanghi had given him. Mukyo informs Seung Ho that he plans to adopt Taeok to take care of his mother. When Tae Yul returns to the restaurant, the owner tells him that Taeok left with the woman from the trading post. He hurries to the trading post, where a commotion has erupted. 3 of Gurutai's men are attempting to assault the servant girls. Hwashan and her bodyguards confront them but struggle in the fight. When one of the executioners nearly kills Hwashan, Taeok intervenes, using a slingshot to injure the man's face. Enraged, the man tries to attack her, but Tae Yul steps in. Tae Yul tries to avoid conflict by apologizing as demanded, but when Hwasam insists that Taeok be handed over, a fight breaks out between Tae Yul and Hwasam. The battle is intense, but Tae Yul proves to be the stronger fighter and defeats Hwasam. Seung Ho secretly witnesses the fight and realizes that Sabak and King Kwanghi's daughter are still alive. That night, Tae Yul tells Taeok the truth about her real identity and parents. Taeok, however, still respects Tae Yul as her father and vows to protect him in return for his care over the years. She tells him she will work as a nurse and become an official's adopted daughter to earn enough money for the herbal medicine. Tae Yul, though saddened by her decision, remains silent, knowing she has made up her mind. He feels deep sorrow as he prepares to part with the girl he has cared for so long. Meanwhile, Seung Ho observes Mukyo and other officials having a secret meeting. They plan to find a substitute daughter to offer to the Qing Dynasty in exchange for freeing some slaves and lowering the ransom price. Mukyo had also sent a letter to King Inju, urging him to act against the Qing Dynasty's cruelty. Seung Ho, eavesdropping on the conversation, realizes that the girl Mukyo plans to adopt, Taeok, will be handed over to the Qing Dynasty. The next day, Gurutai's men intercepted the objection letter Mukyo planned to send to King Injo. After reading the letter, Gurutai became furious with Mukyo for plotting against the Qing Dynasty. He decided to send special forces to raid Mukyo's home and kill all of his family members. While Tae Yul was walking through the forest, he was suddenly attacked by unknown men. After defeating them, Tae Yul realized that Taeok might be in danger, so he hurried to the trading post to check on her. In the evening, Gurutai and his troops arrived at Mukyo's home and started killing all of Mukyo's servants. Gurutai then tried to kill Taeok, thinking she was Mukyo's daughter. However, one of Gurutai's men, who recognized Taeok as the girl who had stabbed him, informed Gurutai that she wasn't Mukyo's biological daughter. Realizing Mukyo's deceit, sacrificing another girl to save his own daughter, Gurutai grew angry. Just then, Seung Ho appeared and agreed to join the Qing Dynasty as a swordsman, so Gurutai decided not to kill Taeok. Meanwhile, Hwasam attacked Hwashan, demanding to know where Tae Yul was because he wanted revenge. Shortly after, Tae Yul appeared and killed Hwasam in a brutal fight. Tae Yul then scolded Hwashan for giving his daughter to corrupt officials to be enslaved. Hwashan, unaware of Mukyo's deceitful plan, took Tae Yul to Mukyo's home to find Taeok. But when they arrived, they found everyone in the house dead. In his rage, Tae Yul went to the headquarters of the swordsmen who worked for the Qing Dynasty. There, he killed all the swordsmen, seeking information about the location of the girls enslaved by the Qing. Tae Yul then headed to the border, where Joseon girls and women were being trafficked as sexual slaves. Meanwhile, Mukyo went to meet King Inju to report that Gurutai had taken his daughter hostage. Unfortunately, when he arrived at the palace, Gurutai had already met with King Inju, leaving Mukyo unable to speak to the king. The scene shifts to Tae Yul, who had arrived at the border, searching for Taeok and the woman from the food stall, both of whom had been kidnapped by the swordsman. Tae Yul heard a cry for help from the woman and entered a tent where he found some men trying to assault her. Tae Yul killed all the men in the tent. Outside, the only remaining guard, who was drunk after being with the other slave girls, staggered around. After freeing the woman, Tae Yul threatened the camp guards and forced them to release all the female slaves. However, Tae Yul couldn't find Taeok. He only found her bracelet, given to him by one of the freed slaves. Tae Yul then ordered the camp guard to take him to the location where the girls were being enslaved by the Qing Dynasty rulers. The next day, Mukyo plans to attack Gurutai's base at the border with the royal army, without telling King Inju. However, during negotiations, one of Mukyo's men is suddenly killed with a hand axe, leading to a fight between Gurutai's men and the royal soldiers. Unfortunately, Gurutai's men have rifles, making it easy for them to kill all the royal soldiers from a distance. Mukyo, hiding nearby, decides to leave when he sees all his troops are dead. But before he can escape, two more of Gurutai's men appear and threaten him with axes. Just then, Tae Yul arrives, guided by the camp guard, who is immediately killed by an axe thrown by Gurutai's men. A 2-on-1 battle between Tae Yul and Gurutai's men begins. Soon, Qing Dynasty troops arrive, shooting at Tae Yul. But Tae Yul uses the bodies of Gurutai's men as shields and manages to get close enough to defeat them all. After a long and exhausting fight, Tae Yul finally defeats the entire enemy force, leaving the last executioner terrified and fleeing. Mukyo, realizing that Tae Yul is actually Sabak, who once protected King Kwanghi, kneels before him and begs him to save his daughter, who was kidnapped by Gurutai. Weakened and with blurred vision, Tae Yul tells Mukyo not to worry about anything else and to try to fix the country he helped ruin through his betrayal. After saying this, Tae Yul limps away and eventually faints from exhaustion. The next day, Tae Yul wakes up at the trading post, where Washan has treated his eyes with herbal medicine on Mukyo's orders. Tae Yul then goes to the swordsman he had previously met to pick up a new sword, which he plans to use to defeat Gurutai. Meanwhile, Seung Ho prepares to fight Tae Yul, as Gurutai has threatened to harm the people of Joseon. The following day, when Tae Yul arrives at Gurutai's headquarters, Seung Ho is waiting for him, ready to fight for their own goals. Gurutai and his servant girl watch the fight from a balcony. The battle between the two best swordsmen of Joseon is intense, as both are highly skilled. However, Tae Yul, driven by his determination to save Taeok and keep his promise to King Kwanghi, manages to defeat Seung Ho. After the fight, Gurutai challenges Tae Yul to another fight, where he can see Taeok, who is tied up with iron chains. At first, Tae Yul struggles to keep up with Gurutai's quick attacks. But when he sees Taeok being threatened by Gurutai's servant girl, Tae Yul becomes enraged and determined to kill Gurutai. In the next round, Tae Yul intentionally injures the servant girl to ensure Taeok's safety. Then, Tae Yul unleashes all his strength and attacks Gurutai with everything he has. After a fierce battle, Tae Yul finally kills Gurutai and immediately embraces Taeok with relief. With Gurutai dead and the Qing Dynasty army defeated, all the slaves are freed, and the remaining Qing officials leave Joseon. The film ends with Tae Yul reunited with his beloved daughter, and they continue to live their lives in peace and tranquility. So the moral of the story is, if you're going to adopt a kid, make sure you don't accidentally sign them up for a lifetime of epic sword fights and revenge quests, because that's just bad parenting.